Welcome into the studios today, Spence Lovett, Jordan Eccles. You'll recognize them, if not from TV 35 being on here before, from the community for sure, because you guys get out and about.
Yes, sir.
And share a lot. And that's great stuff. You usually have the smile that you have now. And y'all feed into so many young lives. You've been doing it for many years through the church. You're still doing it through the church, but through the community as well. And if you don't know, Spence is over Middle Georgia FCA. And you cover a broad area.
Yes, 5 different counties, starting with Johnson County, Lawrence County, Telfair, Wheeler, and Dodge.
Yeah.
So we bring the FCA platform into those communities and trying to work directly with sports ministries. So.
Yeah. So from what I understand, FCA started about 1954, with a strong mission of sharing the faith through student athletes and coaches, and really feeding into them in the schools, meeting them where they are and helping them with their daily lives. And you establish, I guess, group coaches or school coaches for each of the schools, not only in high school, but middle school as well?
That's right, that's right. We try to find local people who have a heart to pour into young people in the sports realm, and plug them in as volunteers to these teams to be able to pour, to invest in them throughout the season, keep teaching them character, looking for the opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them. Yeah. And just to be able to minister to them and love on them, encourage them, because the demand of sports these days is, if we're not careful, the fun's going to be totally out of it. And we're just trying to keep the main thing, and ultimately give them hope and share that their identity ain't in that sport.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, that's so very important. You know, so many people get lost in what they are and where they are, and all that's going to change. You know, they're not going to be the fastest, they're not going to be the strongest, they're not their entire life. You don't have to look very far around us, you know, and you see how that affects them. But it's hard to implement that into a middle school or a high school and really let them see it unless you feed into them on a weekly and daily basis.
That's right.
I commend you all on an excellent job. This is what, 3 years for you?
Two. January will be 2 full
okay.
years working with FCA full time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's just let everybody get to know you a little bit better if they don't know. Tell us about your family.
All right, I'm Spence. My wife's name's Lindy. We've been married this year, be 17 years.
Congratulations.
And we have 2 beautiful children, Lily, who is 13, and Wesley, who is 10.
All right.
And they're keeping me busy.
I bet they are. Let's see, it's like softball and...
Yeah, Lily is involved with softball, soccer. It's her main sport she participates in. Wesley, he's still he likes to try them all right now, and we're trying to narrow that down to, but wrestling, soccer, baseball, and it's kind of his main ones right now, so.
Yeah, and you say that right, wrestling. All right, and so you help out with that too. You know, you help out with that. You're kind of a volunteer coach or community coach, right? Tell me a little bit about that, if you will.
Well, last year, one of the local head coaches had the children's program really doesn't exist in our area much, and so we're just trying to get the wrestling, the kids introduced to the sport, and at a younger age. And so several years ago, the community had a strong kids program. If it wasn't through the Storm Wrestling with Gerald, phenomenal coach with the local high schools that used to have their own kids programs. Well, that has kind of went away with so much, kids are so much invested in baseball, football, the main sports, that it's kind of died down. So we're really just trying to give kids entry point to at least step away and say, no, this isn't for me, or yes, I want to continue in the sport. And it's a great sport.
It is. It's a tough sport, isn't it?
Yes.
Make a man out of you. Just to be
well, they
coach,
have nobody
right?
to blame but themselves, or it's
go.
them and the opponent. So,
yeah.
But we have strong wrestling programs in this community.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate what you're doing on that, really. Volunteer coaches, I mean, at the Pee Wee level, so to speak, the youth level, the schoolboy level, and up through there. I mean, it wouldn't exist without people like you. But thanks on that. Not that you don't already have a plate full.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easier when your kid's involved in it. I will say that.
Yeah, true that. So, Jordan, share with everybody a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm Jordan Eccles. I'm originally from Dublin. I'm married to Josh Eccles. We both work at Pine Forest. super involved with a ministry called River of Life.
Yeah.
And other ministries involved with FCA with Spence and different stuff. My parents are Randy and Jan Mims, who have lived here for forever. Most people know them. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, and you said y'all work at Pine Forest. You
Yes,
do.
yes.
And you work all over, and thank you for that. You do. You're very
Yes,
involved.
thank you.
You guys, I say this about every time I see you because I think of it when your family played and you and your group played at the Market on Madison a
Yeah,
few years back. What a blessing
Friday.
that was. Yeah, I hope you'll do that again. I hope that'll come along because
Yeah.
that's such a great example to the community at large and the people who just turn out and they may not know the Lord. They may not
Absolutely.
have the faith or they may just be in that
Yeah.
kind of context where there's not something they're involved in, but you have such a good time, both of you do. And that's what's so important, to share that excitement, that joy that you have in the Lord and be able to share. But we're here today to talk about Field of Faith.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Field of Faith, what is that?
Fields of Faith is a student-led event where the students from the school come together and invite their peers out to the athletic field. And this year it's going to be at Shamrock Bowl. And this is for all schools in our community, West Lawrence, East Lawrence, Dublin, and Trinity. And the message this year is, one night, one message, one stand. And we're just trying to really create some unity in our community, everywhere from the hallways to the sports teams and also within our churches. We have several people from the churches partnering together this year and bringing this event together. So. But it's an event that started, I guess, 10 to 15 years ago, where they were just out in, I believe it was Oklahoma. A guy had a vision for it, just trying to create an event to where simple. It's not bring in, I like to call them celebrity ministry guys that just going to bring that very gifted in communicating.
Sure.
But it's a simple message that, we want the students to be in the Word of God. And it ain't us adults telling them, it's their peers sharing how God's working in their life through their testimony.
Wow.
And at the end of the service, they'll have a chance to respond to the gospel. So.
Yeah. All right, so how do you have several young people that will be coming to speak, share
Yes.
their testimony?
Yes, this year, like I said, it's a community event. We have representation from each high school, each student that's going to be giving testimony. One thing this year is we have Ice House Worship leading the worship. Now that, I'm going to let Jordan talk a little bit about that in a minute, but we have included students from the schools as well. They're going to be singing along with Ice House Worship. The students will be opening in prayer. The students will be, sharing testimony, singing in the choir. We want the student body, it's for adults as well, but it is geared really towards students, but families come. But we want the adults to be out of the picture, and we want to see a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old see that I would like God working in my life like they're working in that individual's life.
That sounds wonderful. It really does. Now, Jordan, you feed into youth all the time. You nurture them. You try to let them know their value in Christ,
Absolutely.
and then to step forward and be able to share like that. That's exciting to me. Because again, as you say, Spence, once they see that example of a young person who's not afraid to step out and who God's working in their life, hopefully it'll plant that desire in their heart and they'll respond to the Lord.
Their
moving on in their
influence,
life.
the students' influence is huge, and that's our message trying to get, to them, especially in the sports teams is, the kids, believe it or not, you're a leader kids look up to you by being involved on the team.
Yeah.
And so you automatically carry a special leadership or influence just by that alone.
Sure.
And now I didn't say the star player.
Right.
I didn't say the starting quarterback.
Right.
I just said by you dedicating yourself into a team and like that, people look up to that. And so how can you leverage that influence to share God's message and also compete as well?
Right. That's wonderful. Let's talk about the Ice House Worship.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me about that. What's that?
So I was actually asked to be a part of Ice House Worship. Jamie Kraft and AJ Wright, some community leaders, had a vision to get worship leaders and people involved in worship in Lawrence County together and lead worship nights quarterly. And so you probably have seen before, heard of Ice House Worship Nights or something like that. And Ice House Worship is just kind of the band that formed from that effort. So I'm just one of the many worship leaders involved in that. We have, the really cool thing is there's so many worship leaders from different churches. There's probably, every time we play, there's at least 6 different churches represented on that stage. And I just think that's just a huge sign of unity, and of that it's just about the gospel. It's not about your church. It's not about your effort or your specific mission. It's about the gospel. And so Spence asked us to kind of come alongside him and share our talents, give some worship. And so that'll be just kind of what we're doing on that night. We plan to do worship and then let the kids take over. And we are having a student choir. We're helping kind of form that, let the students sing and lead. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and the value of praise and worship music, the preparation of worship, or hearing that testimony, preparing your heart, is invaluable, of course, and the effort that you put into it. But also, if I may acknowledge the strength that and the cohesiveness that a young person is going to find from being at an event like that. They may not have even accepted Christ yet, or they may be a new Christian, even if they're a solid Christian. They know other youth. They see them at these events, ladies and gentlemen, and we encourage you to turn out and be a part of it. Encourage your young person to be a part of it. And then they gain strength from each other in times of need. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir. Like I said, it's a great opportunity to, you know, their initial thought may not even be, I'm going for the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm just going because my friends are there. And, you know, that same person may never come with you on a Sunday morning to worship with you or your youth group, but they may come to Shamrock Bowl that night with you. And that very well may be the point where they realize that they need a Savior. And so it could be very impactful. And just by a student asking, hey, come with me. Check it out. No obligation. I mean, you can leave and say, this ain't for me. That's fine too. You know, so.
Maybe it'll plant a seed for later.
That's right.
You never know.
That's right.
Yeah. Spence, we really appreciate what you do. And Jordan, you know, you guys really work for our community, for our community's youth. You put a lot of time into it. How do we find information online before we move to our next step?
Well, we have a Facebook page, Heart of Georgia Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and so we have the flyers on there. They should be posted in the schools, in the hallways, and we have challenged our student leadership team to blast it on their social media posts and things like that. But it's pretty, the event's going to be November 6th on a Wednesday night, and we have went to, you know, several churches and asked, you know, if their youth groups can meet there that night. And it's going to be from 6:30 to about 8:15, 8:30 time frame. We want to respect, you know, the kids not being out late at night, and our goal is to really keep it within a church night time frame, unless revival just breaks out, and then we'll just say, if you need to go, you go, but we're staying. But I also want to mention we developed a team to help bring this event together. There's no way I can do what I do without a strong team. And partnering with Ice House Worship, with Jordan and them, Colby Chester coming in from Liberty Baptist Church, youth pastor, Kevin Tanner now on staff with FCA part-time, and so we're working together, and a slew of youth pastors also pouring into the kids as well. Really, FCA joining with the local church is a great partnership, because a lot of these kids are on these sports teams that go to their youth groups. And as we continue to grow, we're looking for people to serve. And so I just want to commend the local churches, the local people who are partnering with FCA, because this couldn't be done without them. So
on that note, we'll take a short break, and you've charged Colby and Kevin to come in today.
Yes,
and
sir.
we're going to have them when we come back, and we're going to share a little bit with them, let you get to know them, so you stay tuned.
I'm Glenn Register at Hometown Supply. Want to wish all our area schools the very best in the upcoming season. Hometown Supply, located in downtown Dublin, is here for all your home and hardware needs. We offer new and used appliances, both gas and electric. Competitive prices on electronics and computers, including cell phones, laptops, and tablets. We have service people on staff, a repairman for our appliances, and a computer technician for our electronics. Come by and see how we can help. Just remember, if you can't do business here, you just can't do business.
Hello, I'm John Martin, physical therapist and athletic trainer from Rehab Advantage in Sports Medicine. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to some of our workshops here at Rehab Advantage. We've been hosting workshops every 3 weeks, some for low back pain, shoulder pain, arthritis, and for balance and vertigo problems. And so feel free, we'd love to have you come. We'd love to share information with you about these injuries and how you can get well naturally from these things. And we'd just love to tell you more about it right here at Rehab Advantage. We usually have them hosted at 6 p.m. on Thursday evenings. That does change sometimes, so be sure to look at our website or give us a call 478-275-1800.
All right, now we're back with you. Kevin Tanner, Colby Chester here with us as promised, and you guys are involved with this FCA. Have you been involved with this FCA event? Have you been involved for many years, Kevin?
Yes, I have helped when it was at East Lawrence several years ago on that aspect, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is something that's been, I guess, circulating for a while, right, Colby?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been around. Actually, when I was in high school, I actually got to speak as a student and give testimony when I was in high school at this event. So it's been a big part of my life as well.
Mm-hmm. So Colby, tell us about yourself, your family, and what all you're involved
Yeah,
with.
absolutely. I've been the student pastor at Liberty Baptist Church for about 2.5 years now. I'm actually from Panama City Beach, Florida, and so the Lord called me up here and been serving the Lord here. And while I was in Panama City, had opportunities to serve with First Baptist Woodstock, their Panama City campus, and went to Woodstock, Georgia, and served there, and just really allowed God to influence me with the people up there, and really grew a lot. And then just now really excited to be here and be with Liberty Baptist Church and just be able to serve with FCA. It's just really wonderful. So I got married about 2 years ago to my beautiful wife, Julene. And so we've just been here and been in Dublin and really enjoying it.
Yeah, been loving on youth, and people at Liberty been loving on you.
Yes, absolutely.
And the community at large as well. You're really getting involved with a lot of things. Kevin, you're involved as well, but share with everyone, and just remind them who you are and about your family.
I'm Kevin Tanner. I am pastor at Rock Springs Baptist Church, where I serve full-time there, and also doing Heart of Georgia FCA, serving the same 5 counties as Spence does, and footprint being in Lawrence County and Johnson County school systems, and helping there. Been doing that for about 3 weeks now. Married to Sabrina Kite Tanner. I've been married 17 years, got 2 kids at East Lawrence Middle School. Connor and Brianna Tanner, 8th grade and 7th grade. So a lot going on, love serving. Students is my passion, and that's where, being able to serve through the church, serve through youth ministry, serve through FCA has been an awesome opportunity.
Yeah. So why is FCA so important in our community?
Well, just seeing the FCA serves to and through the coaches and also the student athletes, and seeing the coaches that you can serve that may need something, may just need somebody to lean on, to pray with, to just present the gospel to, and these students that are may not be associated, they love sports, but may not be associated with any kind of youth group, any kind of church, and be able to go and present the gospel to these students in this setting, as far as in the school and on the field.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you just start first by loving on them, don't you?
That's right. Just loving on them, and showing them the gospel. Engaging them with that, equipping them, and empowering the gospel of Jesus Christ to them, and showing how to live for God.
Yeah. And the relation, obviously, several scriptures in the Bible of being an athlete or competing. And competing for salvation, or in the race of life, I guess we'd say, in a race of the Christian life.
Right.
So it's quite a charge, but not only that, with the students, as you say, with the coaches, man, a lot of times they just need somebody to talk to lean on, somebody to pray for them, somebody to encourage them. We all need it, but coaches, you're responsible for so much, Kevin, aren't you?
That's right. Well, Billy Graham put it that, the average person, a coach could just impact more kids in 1 year than the average person can in an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And just coach being able to plug into those students. They see them on a regular basis. They're at school, they're on that field, a lot of times more than they're at home.
Yeah.
So that coach has a big impact in the lives of these students.
So Colby, on that night, you get to kind of as Spence said off camera, you get to put a bow on everything. You get to speak at the end. I guess you get to have a call to the altar or a call to commitment.
Right, absolutely. The night's all about, the students sharing their story of how God has changed their life. And so my opportunity is to come up at the end and say, hey, all of these students, they're your peers. You walk the halls with them. You have class with them. You play on a sport team with them. And you just heard their story of how God changed their life. And you can have that same story. It may be looked completely different, but you can have a story of how God changed your life. Your testimony can start tonight. And so that's kind of my goal and my mission for the night, is to basically give the opportunity for those students to receive the same salvation that their peers have received as well. And so that's really the goal.
Yeah. So Colby, when did you respond to the call of Christ?
Well, I responded to the call of salvation when I was actually 6 years old because of a vacation Bible school. It just really impacted and influenced my life and opened up the gospel to me. I was blessed to be raised in a home that loved the Lord and shared that with me. But it was at that moment that the light bulb went off and the Holy Spirit called me. And so because of that, I kind of grew up and just really wanting to love and serve the Lord. And when I was in 10th grade, the Lord called me to student ministry. And ever since then, that's just been my passion, been my heart, is just to see students grow and to learn and accept who Christ is. And that's just been my goal for my life.
Yeah, we're glad you followed the call. It seems you're having a big impact on the youth at your church, and then now throughout the community, becoming more and more involved with a great organization at
Absolutely.
Fellowship Christian Athlete. So you were involved with that in high school, you said?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I was a part of FCA for my high school growing up, and really, when I came here and Spence approached me and said, hey, I'm doing FCA, and I said, I'm all aboard. Whatever you need me to do, wherever you need me to go, I want to help. And because I knew the impact that it had on my life when I was in high school. And, you have a group of, you can go to school and you're sitting around other kids who, they may not go to church with you, they may go to some other church, but you're around a fellow group of believers, and you can invite other students into that group, and they can hear about who God is. And so I was like, this is the perfect example and perfect opportunity to have this here in Dublin. So really excited.
Yeah, and what an opportunity for you to be able to share with them and let them be an example to others. Our daily walk obviously is what impresses a position on others if they don't know Christ. We have to be an example, of course. So, Kevin, you've been pretty strong in your church for a while. You left a family business that was very successful, and that was, you could have stayed in that position and had a very comfortable life. You went into the ministry. Tell us about that. Speak to us about it.
Yeah, the Lord actually called me to ministry about 20 years ago, but I was one of those that, as you hear the old saying, hanging on to the pew. So I left the fingerprints in the pew for several years until I truly answered the call about 4 years ago. And went to Rock Springs for a year and a half as their youth pastor. And there was without a pastor at the time, and I started praying, God, there's something, what are you calling me? And he said, go preach. So for almost 3 years, I've been there as their pastor. And serving the students, I miss student ministry. How can I get plugged out, preach and do that? And helped with the sports camp about 2 years ago at Dublin High School when FCA had it there, partnered with the LBA. And once we done that, I thought, man, this is something I would love to do. So Spence and I, we were talking, and one thing led to another. And after a year of talking with it, trying to look into it, we came on and started doing it part-time. Ministry with FCA and serving the students because there's so much mission opportunity here in Orange County.
Yeah. And so as we look at the event coming up for FCA, many people respond to in different ways. So they may want to reach out to you or may want to reach out to you, Colby. Tell them how to get in touch with you, how to find you socially.
Right. Well, I'm Kevin Tanner. You can look me up on Facebook, Kevin L. Tanner on Facebook, social media. Or you can just give me a call at the church, 478-463-3388. I'll be glad to talk to you anytime.
Colby, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can look me up on Facebook as well, Colby Chester. You can email me at my church email, cchester@lbcdublin.com. Best way to reach me, and I can respond immediately back to that.
All right. Hey, thanks for what you guys are doing for our youth.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
I thought I'd lost my business in that fire, but my agent was there before the flames were out. He said, together, we're going to rebuild. Our employees depended on it. My independent agent and auto owners made sure we didn't skip a beat. I mean, we didn't miss a single payroll.
For whatever lies ahead, we're always there.
Curry Maffett Insurance, now located in downtown Dublin. Call 272-1234.
Dublin Ford Lincoln is honored to call many wonderful people our friends. Bubba and Jan East are some of those friends.
I wanted to take my time, and when you put that kind of money into a vehicle, I wanted to get what I wanted. I didn't want any outside influences, and I felt like they allowed me to do that. I took my time and found what I wanted, and then they helped me get what I liked.
Others call you customers, we call you friends. That's Dublin Ford Lincoln.
All right, welcome you back again here with Spence. And Spence, you got a great team that you brought in with these, but you have many more involved, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. We got, at each school, we have an advisor. There's a teacher that has to be over the club aspect in the schools. Mm-hmm. And what happens through FCA is on the club end of it, inside the school, a teacher is the advisor. Well, the teacher is the liaison to the leadership team. Because it is a student-led ministry or club on the campus. And so I'm having to communicate to those inside the schools to therefore turn around and commute to the students to let them know, hey, we need to meet and see who's doing this and doing that, and really allowing them to let us know who's doing what, But they help us in the hallways day to day to try to identify those that want to be involved in the FCA ministry. So it's got a lot of moving parts, and the club aspect's just one. We invest in the teams, that's another. Investing in the coaches is another, and also in the community sports as well. So but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, for another day.
Yeah.
But in order to just kind of wrap it up now, Spence, how, if they want to give in some way, if there's somebody out there that says, hey, this is worthwhile, I've heard about it for years.
Yeah, we're a faith-funded ministry. We rely, completely on the community to support. FCA, corporately does not give us anything. When people give, the money stays in our community, allows us to purchase resources with Bibles. Like at this event, will have some cost to it. Yeah. And so I'm able to, help in that and provide that. They will be receiving God's Word, and a bracelet would help share the message, the gospel with. So little things like that, we're able to help support. And like I said, it's the Heart of Georgia FCA. We got a website you can go to and donate there, and there'll be a link to donate to the local ministry. Or they can just contact me personally, and I can walk through, because there's several ways to give. Mm-hmm. We have locally, we have churches giving, we have individuals giving, we have businesses giving, and so sometimes different ways. They need to do it in different ways. Sure. And so we have the electronic way, we have the mail, the check way. Yep. So I'll be glad to walk with somebody through that process. But if you want a simple electronic way, just go to the Heart of Georgia website, which is hogfca.org, I believe it is.
Okay, got it right there on the screen for you.
And it'll be a link that they can connect to or click to, and it'll walk them right through that process. Yeah,
and if they're real old school, your phone number?
Yes, my phone number is 478-279-2868, and my email address is slovett@fca.org.
Okay.
And
remind everybody about the time, date.
Yes, November 6th, Wednesday night. It's a Wednesday night Shamrock Bowl, and it's going to be at 6:30. We're going to start with some worship, and we're going to go to about 8:15, 8:30 time frame. If there happens to be inclement weather, the backup plan is the gymnasium at Dublin High School. Yeah. And I will like to say the city school system has been phenomenal working with and allowing us to do this opportunity to utilize their facilities. Yeah. And we're excited. We're praying for no rain. Yeah. Last year we were able to host the event at West Lawrence. It was outside. The wind started blowing cool. The sun went down, and it just created an environment of we knew the Lord was there. Yeah. And so we're excited. Like I said, this year to incorporate all the schools. Last year East Lawrence was having one. They have had it consistently out there, and we're just entertaining again. our students, a lot of times they worship together, they're on teams together, and they're, you know, they may not go to school together, but a lot of times they run, you know, they're together in the same, you know, Lawrence County is big, but it ain't that big.
Right.
And so we got 4 different school systems, and again, we're just trying to create some unity and under one message of Jesus Christ. Now, when you're lining up against each other on the field, when the whistle blows, we understand that's different, but when the last whistle blows, hey, we love you.
That's
you know, and we care about one another.
Yeah.
And we're here for one another.
Yeah.
So.
And these young people, adults like young people, run in the same circle, so
Right.
to speak. They're going to come in contact with each other, and I love the unity. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to be a part of it. We ask you to get your youth as a part of it. You do whatever you feel led to do financially, but you can start praying now, and you can pray up until the time and through that evening, and that'll make a great difference.
And last thing, Ryan, if you don't mind, Kevin and I wouldn't mind at all if a church is interested in partnering with FCA by, you know, not just financially. If they say, well, how can my church get involved?
Yeah.
You know, Kevin or myself or both of us would love to come talk with them and see what that looks like for their particular church, what may fit their vision, because is very volunteer intensive ministry, and I know it's an opportunity for people to get outside the walls, and we have a perfect avenue into the school system and teams to really be able to plug into young people. So,
that's great.
But I appreciate the opportunity. We appreciate what y'all do here, TV 35, giving us the opportunity to talk about these events, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to use this avenue of communication. So thank you so much as well.
Well, hey, you know, we can thank each other, but you're doing a great job and continued success. Spence Lovett, everyone, with FCA. We'll see you next time right here on TV 35. Thanks.
Thank you.